Further, Bishop, working as a mechanic, mafia slang for hitman, sneaks into the lavish home of a Colombian drug cartel leader and drowns him in his own pool. Upon returning home to Louisiana, he meets with his friend and mentor Harry McKenna, who pays Bishop for his work. Bishop is given a new assignment: kill Harry. Bishop's employer confirms by phone that the contract is correct, whereupon Bishop requests a face-to-face meeting. Dean tells him about a failed mission in South Africa in which agency assassins were killed. Dean says that only he and Harry knew the details of the mission, and that Harry had been paid for the contract details. Reluctantly, Bishop kills Harry with the latter's own gun and makes it look like a carjacking. At the funeral, Bishop meets Harry's reckless son Steve. Bishop stops Steve from trying to kill a would-be carjacker in a misguided attempt at cathartic vengeance. Steve convinces Bishop to train him as a mechanic. Adopting a Chihuahua, he instructs Steve to take the dog with him to a coffee shop each day at the same time. As Steve settles into a routine, Bishop escalates training, taking him to observe a contract killing. The target is Burke, a mechanic for another agency who frequents the same coffee shop. Burke's only weakness is his interest in young men and small dogs. Burke makes a move on Steve and invites him out for drinks. Bishop instructs Steve to slip a large dose of Rohypnol into Burke's drink to cause an overdose. Steve ignores the instructions and goes with Burke to his apartment. When Burke begins to undress, Steve attempts to strangle him with a belt as he had seen Bishop do on a former assignment. Burke fights back, using his size advantage and experience, but Steve manages to kill Burke after much effort, in a lengthy fight. Dean expresses his disapproval of Bishop's having involved Steve, which violated the rules of the contract arrangement, but Bishop says that Harry and his arrangement were for price only, and Harry had left the details up to Bishop. Bishop's next contract is to kill cult leader Andrew Vaughn. They plan to inject their victim with adrenaline to simulate a heart attack, for which the paramedics would administer a fatal dose of epinephrine. While Bishop and Steve are preparing for the hit, Vaughn's doctor arrives, and he sets Vaughn up with an IV of ketamine, which will inhibit the adrenaline's effects. The hitmen decide to suffocate him instead, but are discovered after killing Vaughn and are forced into a shootout with the guards, after which the hitmen slip away and fly home separately. At the airport, Bishop sees a supposed victim of the mission that Harry allegedly sold out. He confronts the other mechanic, who tells Bishop that he was paid by Dean to kill the other mechanics in South Africa and fake his death, so that Dean could engineer the failed mission to cover up his own shady dealings. He also reveals that Dean framed Harry and tricked Bishop into killing his friend. The mechanic then attempts to kill Bishop. After a struggle between the two professionals, Bishop ends up killing him. Bishop is later ambushed by Dean's unprofessional henchmen. After killing them, he discovers that Dean was behind the hit. Bishop goes home to call Steve, only to find that Steve has been ambushed. Bishop directs Steve to a hidden gun, which Steve uses to kill his attackers. Steve gathers supplies for their new mission while Bishop plots how to get to Dean. In the process, Steve finds his father's gun and realizes that Bishop killed Harry. Bishop and Steve kill Dean in an ambush. On the way back, Bishop notices Steve carrying Harry's gun. When they stop for gas, Steve floods the ground with fuel while pretending to fill the tank. He walks a safe distance away and shoots the gas, blowing up the truck with Bishop still inside. Steve returns to the house and performs two actions that Bishop told him not to do: playing a record on on the turntable and taking the 1966 Jaguar E-Type. As he is driving away, Steve finds a note on the passenger seat that reads, "Steve, if you're reading this, then you're dead," which he laughs off as a joke before the car explodes, killing him. Bishop's house is destroyed by a chain reaction of explosions. Back at the gas station, a security video reveals that Bishop had escaped from the truck seconds before the explosion. Bishop gets into a spare truck and drives away.